the sun is shining, there's a bit of a breeze. It's a perfect day for speech Frisbee.
We have two European standouts here.
We are moments away from the opening pull now.
Deep breaths before the madness begins.
Greatest attempt! Oh my goodness, layout to keep it alive! My brains are melting out of my ears! What is going on out there?
Women's division champions!
Gold medal winners here on the beach. European Beach Ultimate Club champions.
Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome one and all back to Gdańsk, Poland, the site of EBUCC 2025, the European Beach Ultimate Championships. We have progressed to the semi-final in the mixed division, the last of the divisions. Finals are set in women's, finals are set in open, and only remain here in the mixed. Having a look at our graphic, I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benji Reese. Benji, I know you're excited for this one. Take us through this bracket.
Yeah, just a little smidgen. UFA maintained their undefeated record. We saw their quarterfinal against Ukraine, a comfortable 13-8 victory. Murciélagos, a back-and-forth encounter. They overcame deep dish discs from the UK, 13-11. An all-Czech encounter in the bottom half of the bracket. Foy with a 13-8 victory over Terrible Monkeys. And again, this game, Outsitters dug themselves a bit of a hole, but fought back and won on universe point. Outsitters over Putti. So we have, very neighbourly affairs in both semi-finals. Portugal, Spain here with UFA against Murciélagos. And on the other side of the bracket, Czechia versus Slovakia with Foy versus Outsitters.
All semis promise to be bangers. Both teams on this side unscathed. Murciélagos collecting 13 points in each endeavor. Pushed hardest in their last game against Deep Dish, but 9 put up against Vent Pills, 5 Grandmaster Flash, 2 Soulclar, 2 Frub, and 3 Wizards. A great show of dominance by them. UFA, quite similar results, Bench?
Yeah, much of the same. Also a 13-11 scoreline against Deep Dish Discs. Otherwise, that quarterfinal against Ukraine is the closest they've been pushed, and that was 13-8. Murciélagos in grey beginning on offense.
We are underway. Ramos, the big target in that throw. Lamotte turned away while the disc was in the air. We have got a sprinkling of rain that's just started and our first turnover of the game very early. Bringel goes to Afonso and some contact there. He puts the disc down, calls the foul, and gets up grimacing, patting the right hip.
Yeah, that's almost always going to be called in that situation, and Santi Ramos knows it as well, quickly accepts the foul call, so we'll come back in on stalling 1.
Disc back in. Afonso to Bringel. Great break throw. Look, the bid so close by Lamotte, but it does get through to the Estonian Terra. About 7 meters out, far sideline. Bringel. Eyes to the end zone. Fill comes from Afonso. Bringel wants it back and gets it straight away. Afonso and Bringel exchange, resetting stall counts. And then Bringel leads upfield. Terra. A crowded backfield, 1 in the end zone, and a hammer to Vargas. That's Diogo Vargas, first goal of the game. It's a break for UFA.
Exactly the way they would have wanted to start. Credit Murciélagos for their red zone defense. They kept forcing UFA back. There was a lovely little inside slice there to Terra. The timing, though, downfield from Diogo Vargas was a little bit off. There's the turnover, a miscommunication. Terra comes steaming through as well, just to make sure. There was the bump on the mark from Ramos. And again, they were close. It wasn't an easy possession, certainly, for UFA. But then Terra says, rather than waiting, I'm going to throw you open into this space. Hangs that hammer up there for Vargas. Still tough to get up off the sand, although actually the rain helps a little bit in that respect because it compacts it slightly, makes it a somewhat easier surface.
There are a lot of spectators here, Benji. Many of them have gone undercover.
Yes, they will be in the
But not
tents
all of
towards
them.
the left-hand side because, yeah, the heavens have well and truly opened here in a very atmospheric Gdańsk.
Brinjel double shifting here, and she's been playing phenomenally. Why not? Chapman on the pole reception, Gabaldoni. Gabaldoni goes around, Fuentes. Swipes with the forehand back to Chapman. Chapman leads Lamotte. Gabaldoni gave a deep cut, but they play it conservative. Gabaldoni with a toe drag. He fires deep. Lamotte, the target. It looks deep. It is deep. And another turnover out of Murciélagos gives UFA a second break chance in as many points.
Feels like another miscommunication there from Murciélagos. I think the defensive pressure from UFA is telling, sending that one up there. And no one's really even in the frame, just sails out the back of the end zone.
Brinjel, the superstar. One-time Eurostar.
Was she a two-time Eurostar?
Two-time Eurostar, indeed. Did some club play with Yaka over the years, but the best of her work done on the beach here with UFA over the years. Tara goes down with one hand for that one, but Tara sees Gabaldoni poach through and take that away. Chapman fires. Gabaldoni with the disc. On the doorstep, shot for goal. That hits, and Murciélagos get the hold one way or another.
Yeah, the quick turnover proved a real advantage there for Murciélagos. If all the players to miscommunicate, Terra and Tam, you would not expect those two, given the connection they formed over the years with Estonia and with Tartu Turbulence on the grass. But they're doing the right thing rather than just, oh, well, I'm in the way, we'll just slap it to the floor. No, we'll pick it up and go quickly, and we'll try and hit them in transition before the defense is properly set. And that's when Murciélagos are at their best. Same with all really good beach sides, I think, is when they get that flow, when they're moving the disc early. So as a defender, it's so difficult to reposition yourself downfield. It is raining, Steph.
Oh yeah, it was drizzle. Now it's
No, this is rain.
Proper rain. There you see that is the Jinx crew. They've got a final tomorrow. They're relaxing and enjoying until then, but that is the tent undercover where the majority of spectators are for now. Filipa Vargas gets from Kuchinova, and now Pedro Vargas fills the center. Basti Spiegel comes, fills Akramova. Spiegel is so fast that first step. Got open immediately. Now to Vargas. Love seeing these two playing together. Vargas sells the around. The mark moves now to the corner, but that's a miss. Kuchinova can't get down. And a turnover and a break chance for Murciélagos.
Yeah, not far away, but you know the margins are going to be fine when it's a closely contested matchup such as this one.
Think these two teams have played before, Bench?
In a few different guises over the years, they might have done, yeah.
I think many different guises over the year. Oh, she was there, but unable to hang on. Bounces off the hand, nearly a ground strip for Mantecon.
Yeah, Bastian Spiegel, you can see him trying to swipe his hands off his short, get off any extra moisture he can.
Kuchinova lets the stall count mount a little.
It really is mounting.
Now it certainly is a scuba, and Spiegel doing everything he can with Gabaldoni bidding in front, collects another goal.
Yeah, has to reach into the box of tricks there. Does Kuchinova going with the scuba, just putting it up into space, trusting Bastian Spiegel to come down with it, and he duly delivers. Whatever happens in this game, you feel like it's going to be fought tooth and nail the whole way. I'd be surprised if this is a convincing victory one way or the other, to be honest.
Yeah, common opponents would suggest that this is going to be a tight game. The amount of times they play each other, both of them with their similar Southern European beach style.
By the way, great job of Gabaldoni of avoiding contact on that bit.
He does that well always. Gabaldoni, a phenomenal player.
Is it fair to call him a grizzled veteran, Steph?
Yeah, chiseled and grizzled.
A little bit of salt and pepper in the beard, which I think we can both appreciate.
Yeah, you better believe it. Chapman takes the first pass. Chapman saw Ramos, didn't like the coverage, then throws open for Hesior. Hesior goes into the backfield. That's Roig. And Chapman again. Chapman fires, sending, but it's Brinjel who's in front the majority of that route and takes it away. Tam. Waits, doesn't like the first in, and a lot is covered up. Now he just floats one to the corner. I'm not sure that's going to work. It somehow does. Diogo Vargas comes down with it, then centers to Terra.
It was a very unorthodox option, but he saw the space and just trusted that his player would get there first.
Tam gets big, takes it down, then leads Vargas on the chase and picks it up for the goal. That's a third for UFA and the second break.
Yeah, and both of those breaks have come into the hand of Diogo Vargas and doing a very good job of throwing players open. On the beach, that's a tough ask because in order to get that snap of the wrist and that little sit so that the players can cover the sand is a lot harder when obviously you're moving a lot more slowly. There's the deep shot. Brinjel had a beat on this the whole way and undercut the route in order to deliver. Tam coming off the sand, and then Chapman, not fully set on the force, rolls it around, and Diogo Vargas comes up with a face full of sand, but most importantly, a hand full of that pink Eurodisc. You can see the pain on his face.
And he falls back into his opponent, into Garcia Roig.
I think that's a very optimistic barbecue you're seeing there.
Yes. We'll see if we get that grill fired up. We'll keep our eye on it for you. That's the beachgoers, you know, enjoying their time in the rain.
I think the rain has eased off slightly, to be fair.
Ines Brinjel taking a fair few shifts here, and again, why wouldn't she?
Before we had the prescribed puller rule in the mixed division, I remember EBUCC in 2017, Portugal would have Ines Brinjel pull quite a lot. She's a great puller on the sand, but importantly, other teams tend to put their female matching players downfield, and it meant she wouldn't have as far to cover on the matchup after the pull.
Smart. Ramos, Gabaldoni. Now Chapman. Gabaldoni and Chapman exchange once again in the midfield. Little shoulder shimmy and back to Gabaldoni. Leads Fuentes into the corner, now doorstepping. Around to Ramos, and he fills that front corner with a goal. 2-3 now. Murciélagos respond.
Fuentes in that now signature score, I think.
Yes, indeed. Signature score. And Sonny's in the rain. That's the more interesting style choice.
Got to keep the vision clear. Get that rain out of your eyes.
You'd have those gimmicky windshield wipers on the sunnies for weather like this.
I'm not sure about that one, but you see there, as soon as Coelho gets his weight set, Ramos just burrows underneath him. Good feet there from the big man to get free at that front cone. There's a decent contingent of this roster who played in the Ultimate Fours showcase after WBUC last year, back in November. Alex Garcia, Jose Gabaldoni, and Santi Ramos were all on that side. 3 of the 4 male matching players in the Olympic Fours showcase. None of the female matching players are on this side, but we have seen a couple of them in attendance this week. Thinking about Aina Perez, who was superb as always for Sharks.
Pedro Vargas with the disc for UFA on the pull reception. Back to Basti Spiegel, and Akramova comes to Phil. She nods off Kochanova and goes to the dump space. Spiegel blasts it deep. Vargas the target. Bid, but can't get the left hand there. And a break chance exists for Murciélagos.
A rare misfire there from Spiegel. Usually he's so accurate, and boy, can Vargas cover the sand when he wants to. But despite the full extension bid, which was always going to come, there was never any doubt about it, he came up short.
And a hand block on that one by Vargas takes away the option from Gabaldoni.
Yeah, slow pickup after the turn here from UFA so they can get an end zone play set up.
Spiegel Wants the around, gets the mark moving again. Philippa Vargas back to Spiegel. Spiegel points with the offhand. Vargas and Spiegel exchange. Around to Akramova, high take. Philippa Vargas, Basti Spiegel. Leads Kochenova, and she's in for another. UFA double up here, 4-2 early days.
Excellent temperament there from UFA. Being forced out of the end zone doesn't matter. We're happy to take those dumps and swings. We'll move the disc around laterally as well, hoping that we can create some seams and creases to exploit. Eventually someone's going to be caught on the wrong side. Spiegel. Nothing exaggerated about the fakes, but just the pivots to try and get the mark a little bit off balance, overset one way or another, and when they do, unveils that backhand to Kochenova for the score. Would you like to know what's going on in the other semi-final, Steph?
You bet I would, Benji.
Currently outsitters in the advantage on that one, and they lead 3-2. A couple of breaks up in that one as well, so they've given themselves a decent bit of cushion because they will receive coming out of half.
Love to see it. I was impressed with them on day one, and I thought they might get deep. They may be exceeding even those expectations, though. I was not sure I would have bet on them to make the final. Let's see if they can get through or if it'll be Fui.
I mean, if you look at the semi-final placings, you've got the number 1 seed UFA, the number 2 seed Foy, and the number 4 seed here in Murciélagos. And yeah, the outlier in that is the outsitters coming in as the 8th seed.
Garcia Roig brings to the brick mark. Fuentes comes under. Two-hand pancake, and then back to Chapman. Chapman, quick delivery. Garcia Roig to Fuentes on the sideline. Back again, Garcia. Shoulder shimmy, gets around. Izior. Garcia. Fuentes. Murciélagos chipping away slowly here, and now they go for the big bite, and it is a effective chomp in for the goal. 3-4, another hold.
Yeah, Chapman so at home on the sand as he finds Garcia for the score. Yeah, for those unfamiliar where Murciélagos are from, it's from Valencia, as you might expect in the Murcia region of Spain. And there's Chapman just put a little bit of air underneath it. Nothing exaggerated, but trusting that Garcia has the speed across the sand.
Nicky Chapman, also one of the hosts, tournament organizers of Zekebo, if I said that right.
I back your pronunciation more than I back mine on that, but I don't think it was right.
I don't think it was right either. We could get some help, perhaps, but... Zekebo. We're getting closer. I don't think it was that far off, but yeah.
It's a tournament I've never been to, but we've always wanted to.
Yeah, I'm hoping we might have a chance to get there this year.
Let's go.
And Kochenova on the pickup to Pedro Vargas. Vargas, Kochenova, Basti Spiegel.
Oh, how did he holster that?
Yeah. Took some intestinal fortitude to keep that in hand, and then Vargas goes to Akramova.
It can only have been that Akramova and Tam were both making that cut at the same time, because if just one of those are going, I know that I would have thrown it.
And if Benji would have, surely Basti would have.
Right, exactly. Everyone always says that he's just a lesser Benji Reese.
Everyone, meaning no one, I think, is where you're going there, Benji. But Kochenova pulls one in on the sideline. Double, yeah, two went to the same space there, but Kochenova put it to the right spot for just Vargas and gets it straight back, gains some good meters on it. Tam looks to the end zone, fires, and hits a very casual right hand of Akramova.
It's Akramova. I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah, me either. Like, it looks casual to us, but very assured by what she's doing.
Yeah, she is so reliable there, Akramova. We know that she has plenty of experience on the sand. Who can forget that women's final in 2017 in Royan? That unbelievable comeback to take the gold medal. One with mixed as well in Portimao in 2019. So, yeah, a track record of success on sand.
Class act, speedster, and like a fine wine, seems to be getting better with age.
And just generally a lovely human being.
Oh,
Doesn't it sicken you?
it does. In the right way.
We'll see if Murciélagos can get that instant response.
Ramos goes low to collect. Lamotte, Chapman, and then Garcia. Ramos comes charging under. Lead throw, Izior. Looks to center, then takes the up line from Chapman. Chapman floats, Ramos scores.
Love that from Chapman, taking advantage of Afonso Coelho's back being turned, and he just pops this over the top. And, well, Santi Ramos is always a tempting target. But by the time Coelho knew he was the target, he'd already got the disc. Cheeky.
Love a bit of cheek out there.
I mean, obviously these two sides, we associate them with beach success. They've proved that at the club level, and they've proved that at international level as well. But even so, you know, the more other countries play beach, you expect them to catch up, and yet here we are in the semi-finals, and it's Portugal and Spain again.
Yeah, as much as things change, a lot of it stays the same, Benji. Only one will be able to get through. And there we do have the update. The Polish sausages hitting that hot grill right now. Excitement.
Getting some bangers for this banger.
Spiegel. Akramova, great D underneath by, that was...
I believe it's Elena Mantecon.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Bench. Baraza. And I think the toe down by Fuentes, but Kuchinova believes otherwise. Perhaps we'll get a look at this.
There was someone on the sideline who was signaling inbounds, and they're happy to take their word for it.
No look required. Fuentes to Gabaldoni. High take Baraza. And a backhand scorches through the middle. Ramos, and then continuation to Fuentes. And that is the first break of the game for the team from Valencia. And they're tied up 5 apiece.
Murciélagos going to need another break to bring this back on serve, but that is a good way to start for the Spaniards. Here's the turnover. Akramova, usually you back her in the underspace, but a really good job of coming round the outside shoulder and sticking that big gloved right hand in there. And then this was a riser that Fuentes handled well. Yeah, maybe, I think you can see the tape move a little bit, but of course on beach, as long as you've got your foot under the tape, you can drag that a little bit. That change made to the rules a couple of years ago. And then from there, utilizing the inside throwing lane very effectively as Ramos continues a good thing. And he finds Fuentes for the goal.
Baraza sends the pull. Picked up Kuchinova to Spiegel. Around to Tam quickly. Spiegel was on his bike.
Bringel screaming for it underneath.
And gets now Bringel to Spiegel. Spiegel eyes upfield, now centers to Akramova. Bringel fills space. Tam comes in and is swiped out. Spiegel. Open dump if required, but his eyes were still upfield. Now to the dump. Exchange between Brinjel and Spiegel once again now. And that is taken away. Fuentes was almost always in front there.
Yeah, I was thinking what a good job Fuentes was doing on Kochanova. They tried to test that matchup. That was a bad move.
Brinjel's gone deep here, and that leaves Barraza open. And they've got to start using it. They have, and Brinjel's still waiting deep now. Catching up, and the other way goes, and that cut works. Another break. Emilia Winter Artuzio with the goal. What a sequence of events there.
Yeah, Murciélagos with a 3-point run to turn the tide back into their favor. Kochanova looked a little bit gassed. Fuentes played such good defense on it. You see mirroring her hip for hip. Takes the inside line, and I love that she goes to catch this as well, leaving nothing up to chance there. Spiegel, a couple of turns in the last few points. I feel like he's not seeing the separation he wants from those downfield players. Brinjel was trying to clog up the deep space. As soon as she began to fill forward again, when Tucio makes Winter Artucio, I whooshioned that, makes that deep cut and is duly rewarded with the goal. Murciélagos now on top for the first time in this contest, Steph.
Wow, what a sequence of events. The error, Artucio, the Brinjel poaching deep and waiting, and then as soon as she came in, the deep cut went her way. Artucio, I know, has been playing for the last few years with Box in Vienna.
The other semi-final, by the way, is at the same scoreline. It's now back on serve. Foy trading up with Outsitters. They lead 6-5.
Thanks, bench. Vargas comes under. And then goes to Brinjel. Kochanova and Spiegel comes through laterally. Tempara, Brinjel. Kochanova does a great job to hang on to that slightly odd angle. Eyes upfield only, throws to Spiegel. He finds in the corner. We're tied at 6. Galaxy point bench.
You love to see it, Steph. Just under 25 minutes at the clock. 6-all. Next point takes half. It'd be huge for UFA if they could get the break again here, because they get the opportunity to receive coming out of half, and it would almost count for double. Here's Kochanova. I think Gabaldoni is expecting Spiegel to come all the way back into the center, but when he doesn't and Spiegel takes the step towards the break side, he's beaten for position, and the layout can't cover the ground.
6-6.
This is what it's all about, Steph.
Oh, this is the good stuff, Benji.
This is the good stuff. It looks like Terra's going to pull, which tells you that we've got 3 female matching players on this point, although it's an even number point, so, or I should say an even score on the scoreboard.
Yeah, so it's handed off to her Estonian counterpart.
Yeah, so 3 male matching players in that case, because it should be the same as it was last point.
You can see the Spanish flag and how much the wind has calmed if you've been with us all day.
It's been, yeah, changeable throughout the day, I think, the forecast.
I'll tell you what, the calm worries me from time to time, too. After yesterday's calm before that storm. Great pull, lands back of the end zone. Chapman still one pass later, middle of the end zone. Now they're out. And bounce to the sideline. Garcia launches. Ramos collects and is in for the goal. That is halftime. And Murciélagos gets stronger as the half goes on to take it.
You can almost see the arteries bursting out of Santi Ramos' neck. He knows how much this means. Halfway through, Tam gave up the ghost. He knew that there was no shot he was ever going to get it. The only question was whether Ramos could apply the finish, and apply the finish he could, with an exclamation point as well. I mean, he might be the fastest man on sand.
Ramos.
Because not only is he, you know, he's very adept at it, but he's got this big, long stride pattern. And I haven't used this weekend, so I'm going to use it now. The best way to run on sand?
What's that, Benj?
Don't touch the sand. Because the longer you spend on the sand, the more weight you try and put through that, the more you sink down and it's difficult to get that spring. But when you've got this big, long stride pattern, especially if you're light on your feet, you're just getting less points of contact with the surface. You're covering more ground quickly without the chance for the sand monster to nip at your heels.
I like your assessment. Spiegel picks up the pull. Second half action, Kochanova. Isolates Spiegel and overshoots. And Murciélagos, big chance here.
Yeah, this would make it 5 of the last 6 points if they convert for the break.
We still have not seen a timeout.
We have not.
And I think if they do convert, now would be the time. Let's see how this goes. Baraza from Gabaldoni. Lead throw inside Antecom. Gabaldoni gestures with the backhand, then gives to Baraza. Baraza swipes the forehand. Up line cut, didn't go. It was covered up, then tries to cross the field, and the error is given back. Overthrows everyone. Spiegel will slowly walk to the disc.
That's the high stall option there. See if you can get it out towards the break side where your receiver's likely to have position. Put a bit of air on it as well. But that time, they weren't ready for it to come. And it comes to nothing.
Spiegel to Vargas. Vargas, Akramova, toe drag required. Akramova asks for some upfield movement as Spiegel fills into the backfield. Spiegel bombs Vargas, the intent, but 2 gray shirts in front and knocked away again.
That's so smart there by Baraza. She was ready and waiting for that to come. Just sitting off a little bit slightly, and almost as Spiegel was winding up for it, she'd already peeled off, and she's in front of both of the others, and it's the simplest of swats to the sand. Superb recognition and awareness from Daniela Baraza. But tipped on the mark, and it's going to go back.
Big mark, Filipa Vargas, and we've got the most turnovers we've seen in any point right now in this one. 4 of them thus far. Spiegel on the pickup.
Maybe a distant rumble of thunder.
Fired for the end zone. Vargas is there. He puts it down. Not entirely satisfied, but giving some energy back to his team.
You heard the thunder, and there was the lightning quick release of Spiegel. Just pivots out, rips the inside to Pedro Vargas. He's part of, I think, I'll call them the first family of Beach Ultimate.
I like that.
Obviously, you've got Pedro, Diogo, Filipa, and Ines Bringel as well. It's not bad going.
They are the first family is entirely right there down in Portimao.
Must say
they own that beach and they try to stake claim in any other one they travel to.
Touch wood. Hopefully looking forward to being in Portimao this November for the World Beach Ultimate Championships.
I'm hoping for the same, Ben. It happens to fall over my birthday.
Oh, that would be a particularly nice present. Had such good fun last year with the first ever WBUCC, the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships. And yeah, Portimao's a venue that I've had the pleasure of going to on a few occasions now, and it is always an absolute delight.
Bringel tries to take away there, but Murciélagos continue to make completions. Chapman in the backfield goes up to Garcia. Garcia overshoots just a bit, gets a bid by Hesiod, but no hand available to it.
I feel like Hesiod didn't have a completely sure footing on that one. Even before she laid out, it felt like she wasn't fully balanced, and Bringel picks up and the cuts aren't coming for a couple of seconds. They weren't quite switched on.
Yeah, a lot of screaming to engage, and the Estonians connect Ham to Terra. Now Bringel leads and hits. Alvar Diaz Lorenzo with the goal, and UFA break back. Another lead change, 8-7 for the Portuguese outfit.
We told you it'd be tight. This is a real coin flip matchup, and at the moment, it's just about falling UFA's way, but this is going to go back and forth a couple more times. Just you wait. A lovely throw from Bringel, stretching it deep to near Alvar Diaz Lorenzo. We've talked about some of the great beach tournaments around the world, the great beach venues, and it would be remiss, I think, not to mention, of course, Lanzarote and Murciélagos, the hosts of the wonderful CFC.
Oh, yeah. Ira and Basti both on this field here. UBUCC, the club, as mentioned. But, well, I say one of my favorites for so many tournaments, but CFC, endearing. One of the few that we send teams to actually play, not just stream.
Yeah,
not one of the few, the only one.
I was delighted to make my CFC debut last year, and although it ended in silver medal, at least I can hold my head high as the only member of the team not to throw a turnover.
You better believe it, Benji.
Can add that to my 100% completion record at Nationals as well.
Benji, somebody sign this guy up to their team.
Please don't.
Murciélagos underneath. Ramos from Hesiod, and now Garcia to Ramos. Leading throw, Hesiod. Wanted to give it straight back, but that was covered up. Now to Garcia. Leads. Gets inside, Lamotte, Chapman. And high, looking for Ramos, and he's going to get him. Couple of snowmen on the board now, 8 apiece as Murciélagos answer.
It's that same matchup again when they get Coelho up against Ramos in order to try and mirror the hips. He's got his back completely turned there, has Afonso Coelho. And as soon as the thrower recognizes that, it's curtains. Chapman could definitely take the intermediate here, but he sees that Coelho doesn't have eyes on the disc and just pops that one nonchalantly over the top to Ramos for the score. We've reached halftime in the other semi-final, by the way, and a break on Galaxy Point for the Slovaks has them with their noses just about in front of Foy. So 7-6, the outsitters lead.
They will receive the pull, is that what you're saying?
That is correct. Yes, you didn't see that wrong. That is 5 goals now for Santi Ramos. That's kind of disgusting.
That's not a bad game.
I mean, he is such a tough cover. He is certainly one of the hardest men to cover on this surface. Yeah. Trying to think who else I'd have up there. Osquita, I think, Oscar Gonzalez on a male matching side. He's also absolute lightning on the sand.
Here comes UFA, Basti Spiegel to Akramova. Spiegel gets going, Vargas fills, Ramos chucks the body. Now Spiegel puts the feet down. Inside to Tam, straight back to Spiegel. Fires! Akramova gets the arm up early and could not hook the thumb.
Usually she judges those so well, but I think actually on this one she had more time and didn't quite have to stretch it so early. Maybe she felt that she was using balance or didn't necessarily have the speed across the sand. But she makes her calculation, decides this is the moment to snatch for it, and it wasn't to be.
So Murciélagos, a chance to break back once again. Could be another lead taker if they succeed. Patricio on the sideline, taking it all in.
Yeah, we told you it wouldn't be straightforward. We weren't lying. Gabaldoni's won all there is to win on this surface with Spain, with Guayota, and hopefully for him, now with Murciélagos.
Gabaldoni fires, looking for Santi Ramos, and it's Tam who does get in front this time. And now they discuss the potential of contact. Ramos calling the foul.
Yeah, it's not the best throw, that one from Gabaldoni. He undershoots it a little bit and hangs it up as well, and that gives Tam the chance to get potentially position on it. And maybe there is a little bit of a bump out of the way there from Tam. Have a look at it again from the other angle. I think they're deciding, yes, there's contact, but actually you got the swat of the disc pretty cleanly, and we understand that when the discs go up, there's going to be a little bit of argy-bargy underneath it, and it was nothing egregious, so we'll let the turnover stand.
I like the resolution. I like the question in the chat here. Sam Murphy, does Santi play grass? And in an unrelated question, does he like the idea of living in Dublin? What could he be getting at here?
I mean, Randler are no stranger to Spanish imports because Juan Carlos Fernandez Troyano, of course, played there a couple of seasons ago.
Let's see if anything develops from that. But no! Santi Ramos putting his name all over this game. But Vargas says there was contact this time.
Yeah, he doesn't think that Ramos got that one cleanly.
And has Ramos accepted the foul? He did. Yeah, there's some body-to-body there. He certainly got there well before. But it looks like he was happy to accept that he went through the body to do it. Akramova to Vargas. Vargas leads, and Tam receives 9-8. UFA get themselves out of one there.
It just shows that they know more about this surface than I do, because when that went up, I thought he's undercooked this a little bit. But no, he got the edge right, he got the weight right, took it over the defender, and Tam's able to track it towards the back of the end zone. But both sides, they're not having it cleanly really on offense. Even when they do convert without turning it over, you really do feel like defenders are in shoulders and in pockets.
Well, I see that again, and the more I see it, I think it was clean. I'm sure he accepted, and I'm sure there was swiping body-to-body contact there, but I think he hit his knee towards the end of it. Is probably what Vargas felt there to make the call, but I really did like that bid.
I think it's one of those where you would probably benefit from seeing it from a reverse angle from the other side, because you might get it, because Ramos' body is in front there, so it might potentially shield you a little bit from seeing a bit more physicality. But again, you always trust that the players are making calls in good faith. That's the underpinning of spirit of the game. And on that occasion, as you say, Ramos accepted the foul call relatively quickly. And the two of them had a little joke after the point as well. So spirits all very high here.
Garcia with the disc. Heziar on the reception to Artusio. And back to Chapman. Chapman spies the middle of the field. Now eyes upfield. High stall count. And shoots low, but collected by Garcia. He goes to the end zone. Hezior scores, and it's 9 apiece.
I feel like Chapmanson got away with that one, because he looked off an open dump throw to Winter Artuzio quite early in the stall count, and then she had a lot of space for quite a long time, but his eyes were locked downfield, and he just about finds the inside window to get the throw off, and then they do follow it up eventually into the end zone from the score with that nice whipped low release break. But it's a game that's being played in the margins, which is usually what happens when you get two evenly matched sides.
It's 9-9. We've been back and forth. We've had leads as big as 2, but mostly 1 or even throughout the game. I mean, if you don't like this, you don't have a heart, hit that button, people. It's a little thumbs up icon. Press the like button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the bell, get your notifications. Check us on patreon.com/ULTI.TV to see what more we do. And, of course, for next weekend and beyond, we'll be giving more through our YouTube channel. Go become a member and take in London Invite and a whole heap of extra content.
Yeah, every game at London Invite is being filmed. We've got 1 free live stream every round and 2 behind more live Ultimate. And then 1, of course, being filmed, not by us, but by other parties for release on delay.
Vargas gives the backhand, opens up. That's not going to work. Take it away, Gabaldoni.
Yeah, comfortably undercooked.
Mantecon with a timeout taken by Gabaldoni. He knows how much this is worth this late in the game. 40 minutes in, only 5 to play. And Murciélagos now celebrate the opportunity that they see in their hands.
You only get 1 to use, and you can't take it with you into future games, and he feels that now is the moment. A break this late on, especially with the extra time taken out of the game, could be decisive.
We will take a very short break here and be back with the tail end of this banger from EBUCC.
Here we go.
This year, London Invite is bigger than ever, with 8 teams in the Open Division, 8 teams in the Women's Division, and for the first time, a full 8-team mixed division.
With 5 World Games teams, USA, Canada, Australia, Germany, France.
As well as the Tokai Super Team, it's sure to be the ultimate showcase of the best in the world.
More teams, more streams, more stars, more ultimate.
More excitement.
You're not going to want to miss London Invite 2025.
9-9, 41 minutes and change expired. Turnover into the hands of Murciélagos and the ensuing timeout. A chance to break here.
If you're wondering what's going on in the other semi-final, it's equally tight. 8 apiece between Foy and Outsitters. Outsitters just scoring to level that one up with 2 of ULTI.TV's own. Lucia Pekarova to Filip Molnar.
Love hearing this news.
I mean, I've no idea which way that one's going to go. It's a true 50-50. This game is exactly the same as they've proved with how tight it's been in both the micro and macro of the game.
Gabaldoni winds up, puts it away. Uh-oh, Ramos goes deep. He got a step on Spiegel, and he's got another one. Dives into the end zone, lands elbows first, and the war cry in celebration. Murciélagos tick over double digits first. They're up 10-9 late in this one.
That's a clinic in cutting with conviction, because he really sold Bastian Spiegel that he was going to take that under option there. Spiegel had to commit, and when he did, Ramos got what he really wanted, the open deep strike. Gabaldoni needed no second invitation, and Ramos will finish with a flourish.
Keeping their guns out there. Line calling will be something of great interest from this point on. Look at that man fly. Almost wearing the Frisbee in the face upon landing, but the war cry, a thing of beauty out of Santi Ramos. 6 goals, Benji.
Well, one of the nice things about throwing to Ramos is that you don't actually need to throw it into the end zone for him to score, because as long as it's relatively close, he'll just lay it out in for the goal anyway.
Wild game here. The pole chase is on. Brinjel picks from the ground and takes Tempata straight back to Brinjel. Tam comes under charging. Didn't see anything upfield. Quick back to Brinjel in the dump space. Brinjel looks for the around backhand, then Spiegel fills on the other side. Tam comes in. Brinjel offers early. Akramova. Spiegel was off and running, and he is again. And Akramova's put it maybe too floaty, but Basti handles it. Spiegel on the doorstep leads. Tempata ties it at 10. 44 minutes in.
Casual flip for the score there with the offhand from Bastian Spiegel. Never seen flustered or flummoxed. Akramova there, just sitting that one up for Spiegel to go and get. Could have maybe thrown a little bit further, but it wasn't a problem because Spiegel was happy to apply the finish with that little lefty backhand. With 10s going just before the time cap, whatever happens, it'll be a game to 12 from this point forwards.
We are getting it all here, using every minute to fill with action.
What more could you ask for?
Not too much, Benji. Cold beverage, but I know that's coming after.
There's plenty of time for that when the action's done tonight.
Yeah, so there is not much more I could possibly want right now. A few more likes to show up, perhaps.
Yeah, those of you who are subscribing, we thank you as well for your support. Those of you who maybe think you're subscribed but have a double check because you might not be. Case in point, I was once one of those. Maybe subscribe on your alt account, which I know you have, so people don't, the algorithm doesn't know what you're really into.
Late change there on the UFA line. Tam comes checking in for Patricio in the 3 male matching player point. The Vargas brothers with Brinjel and Tara rounded out on the UFA side for defense, and Chapman to Garcia. Ramos, I don't think he's going to take many breaks from here on out. Goes back to Chapman, now Garcia. Chapman again. Garcia around Ramos. Ramos is big, too big, and he goes over top of Chapman. Big opportunity for UFA.
Should have been a relatively simple swing, but Ramos floats it slightly, and because Chapman is static there, he doesn't have the opportunity to maybe get some momentum into an upward jump.
Brinjel with a disc to Vargas. Vargas eyes upfield. Too many coming, but Diogo Vargas did open up now. Has to get rid of it, finds Brinjel. Brinjel to Diogo Vargas. Our sideline goes to brother Pedro, and only just finds enough space in the lane to get it there. Pedro Vargas had the deep option but didn't want to test Santi Ramos. Flipper to Tam. All alone is Terra. The Estonians connect. They retake the lead into the 47th minute. It's 11-10 for UFA, once again on top.
Yeah, they'll get 2 chances to close this one out. Everything in that possession was being done at what felt like the last second of the stall. Just how can we find a way to keep this recycling, because downfield felt very static, and in the end it's a little bit of something special from Vargas. Using the scuba there to access this soft side to Tam. Ramos wasn't expecting it, so he's sat off in coverage, and that means that there's space for Tam to get the quick release blade out there to his Tartu Turbulence teammate Terra.
Look at the sense of relief on Terra there for just a moment.
I was going to say relief.
Oh, I got it. You know, she's done that so many times, but when you get put in these pressure cookers, the routine mechanics of playing this game sometimes feel oh so difficult.
The other semi-final, Foy and Outsitters are tied at 9s, and that has gone to Universe. Will this follow suit?
Well, if Murciélagos can score here, they can push it that far. Garcia to Fuentes, charging under. Izior gives a cut, makes space to come under. And back to Chapman. Chapman up line. Garcia fires to Fuentes. They're moving well towards that end zone. Fuentes eyes the middle. Now, hammer! Not enough on it. There's a chance to win the game. Brinjel. A break here is a berth in the final for UFA. Ines Brinjel grabs at the hamstring there and then looks back upfield, delivers the backhand to Terra. The bid comes from Fuentes. Terra to Kramova. Travel called back from the original throw just as UFA were looking to get going.
Now, travel calls are often tough on sand, but I must say, I think I did notice that Brinjel was kind of inching herself a little bit closer towards this near side when she had the disc in hand. Not intentionally necessarily, but there was definitely some movement.
I think it's coming back any which way you slice it. They are still discussing. The travel call can only be retracted, not contested. You can plead your case.
How close was Fuentes on that layout attempt?
I was so surprised not to see that becoming a block.
She is really a force of nature.
Back in the hands of Brinjel. Time cap well and truly expired. We are playing to 12, as Benji mentioned. Game point in hand for the yellow shirted UFA. Tempana right back to Brinjel. Brinjel, exasperated with the lack of cuts, goes far side, and Fuentes gets it this time. Another takeaway and a chance to extend the game for Murciélagos.
She would not be denied by hook or by crook. She will get her side first to Universe point and then hopefully to the finals.
First cut, Hezior in the middle. Fuentes laying out for everything right now, including that reception.
You have
Fuentes
to.
leads Chapman. Is he in? Still unsure. They're saying no, not yet. Chapman on the goal line, floats one up. Fuentes is there again. We're going to Universe.
Cometh the hour, cometh the player. Dalila Fuentes is not to be denied here. She'll get the layout block, she'll get the layout save, she'll get the layout score as well. Chapman just knows how to take advantage of defenders in those positions. He's got exactly the right amount of sit on these throws. That was the first turnover that gave the disc back. Fuentes trying for the hammer towards the far side, not enough sit on it. And then she was not going to let that happen. She was not going to be the reason this game went UFA's way. Huge layout block to get it back. And again, under such tight coverage from Kramova. Both players bid, both fairly. And then this is Superb from Chapman. Just a little bit of sit and loft over the top. We're tied at 11s. It's Universe with a finals berth on the line. You couldn't have scripted it any better between these two Iberian powerhouses. Let's have a look at the 5 we've got out there for each side.
Oh, goodness. Both these teams deserve it. Only one will get through. On the UFA side, we've got Tara, Brinjel, Spiegel, Kochanova, and Tam looking across the other way. It's Hesiod, Gabaldoni, Ramos, of course, Fuentes, and Mantecon. Benji, we are ready. 22 points played. This is the only one that matters for a berth in the finals.
I'm so ready, Steph. Hook it to my veins.
Here's the pull. And it's Spiegel who settles under Kochanova. First touch. Tara. Hands on disc. Looks back. Spiegel gives an option. Spiegel to Tam, comes under hard. Tam thought about the deep shot and plays conservative here to Brinjel. Brinjel. High stall. Count goes to Kochanova. Kochanova eyes up field only right now. Around Brinjel, toes the line, keeps it in. Tam gives a cut. Not quite. Back to Spiegel. Kochanova on the far side. Hops forward. Tara with the sticky hand and the take. UFA going to the finals. What a game. This one, an instant classic.
A game for the ages on the sands of Gdańsk. It had to be. And Helen Terra comes big in the clutch again, plucking it from the heavens. Murciélagos were so close the entire game. It swung back and forth. And even on the final possession, on the final pass, you weren't sure whether Helen Terra was going to get it. At the very apex, the zenith of her jump, she plucks it down with aplomb.
I got to see this again.
Kochanova just sitting it up there, and Terra rises. If she hadn't, it would have been Ramos's. But sometimes Helen Terra is inevitable.
Oh, goodness, that catch was going so fast, pulled her arm back nearly out of the socket. All right, I jest a bit, but wow, like it does take her arm with it.
I mean, it doesn't matter the surface, be it grass, be it indoor, be it sand. Helen Terra is the goddamn truth, if you were not abundantly aware.
Well, Benji, that is going to be very hard to top, but we do have 3 bronze medal games tomorrow, and of course 3 gold medal finals as we get a chance to take a look at the match stats from this one. 4 breaks to 3 is the difference, and everything else, minuscule margins.
Yeah, Murciélagos actually the cleaner side on offense, more clean holds, gave up fewer break chances. But UFA's O-line, they play such tough defense to earn back their turnovers. And when it mattered most, on Universe Point, they did not give Murciélagos a sniff. What a game, Steph! It's exactly the punctuation point that this sensational Saturday needed here at EBUCC 2025. Would you like to know what's gone on in the other semi-final?
I would. I know it's over.
It is indeed over. We told you it was going to Universe. And 10-9 the scoreline. And the final will see the number 1 seed UFA take on the number 2 seed in Foy. They just about outlasted their neighbours there. Andre Ridlo to Jakub Hruszak was the final goal. So what a mouth-watering matchup that is for tomorrow. UFA versus Foy. They've been on a collision course right from the get-go. Both undefeated. That is going to be a banger of a game, Steph.
And a couple shout-outs before we end this one to some of these players. Santi Ramos, 6 goals in the game. Nikki Chapman, 4. Dalia Fuentes, 2 goals, 2 assists, 2 blocks.
I mean, she went nuclear towards the end of the game. I mean, there were so many standout performances that didn't deserve to be on the losing side. But when you play good sides, even the best players, even when you play well, sometimes it just isn't enough.
It almost seems unfair when only one of these 2 teams can get through, but that is the nature of these games. That's why we play them out. And it is UFA who gets through this time. On that side, on the winning side, Spiegel pulls his weight as usual. 2 goals and 3 assists. Kochanova, 2 goals and 3 assists. You look down, Tam with 3 assists and a goal, and standout performances. Everyone providing to the win here, to the performance, to get them across that line. They had to drag everything to do it.
So should we give people a rundown of what they can expect tomorrow?
Well, why not, Benj? Let's keep everybody informed here.
So 9 o'clock local time, so in just over 12 hours, so you've got plenty of time to rest.
But set your clocks
and refreshed. Starting off with women's bronze medal match, Sharks from Barcelona up against Seagulls of Hamburg. Then into the mixed division, Murciélagos and Outsitters will both have to lick their wounds after their universe point losses today to go and battle for bronze. And then 11 o'clock, open bronze medal match, Crisis Club of Ireland take on Würzburg of Germany before we move into the finals, starting with the women's division. What a matchup this is. We had a little preview earlier today. Jinx, Midnight and Troubles battle it out once more. The Germans versus the Poles. And then, yes, we teased it for you now. UFA of Portugal up against Foy of Czechia in the mixed final, finishing off in the open division with Solaris, who have been on an absolute warpath through the bracket, laying waste to all comers. They take on the sand specialists of Sharks from Barcelona. So will it be home nation gold for Poland in multiple finals tomorrow? Well, there's only one way to find out, Steph. And what would that be?
Well, that would be to tune in and never change that dial. Stay locked on to ULTI.TV on our YouTube channel. You know our calls to action, but we will give one more time. Hit the like button in this game, please. Make sure you're a subscriber. Our next goal is to get 29,000. And, of course, become a member of our YouTube channel, and you will get more coming up from next weekend and beyond.
Yeah, we've already done a little teaser of that. Those of you from down under or want to appreciate Ultimate from all over the world, we trialed more live streaming access at the AUC, the Australian Ultimate Championships, and it comes in full force at London Invite, where we've got 1 free live stream game around and 2 more behind more live streamed Ultimate. You can get access through our Patreon as well. And if you want to watch some of the best crew in the game, bring you the best games around, like this one, that is something that I believe is worth supporting.
Well, Benji, I think that grill has probably got some hot meat coming off it by now.
I think it's got our names on it.
Tunes are pumping over in the tent. I think there's going to be some libations pouring. We might want to enjoy ourselves. I think Sam Murphy's going to be out. We see him in the chat.
If Smurf's going, I'm in.
Hey, one of our favorite commentators. He doesn't play so bad either. Hey, to all you, thank you so much. It's only the end of Saturday, a whole finals day to come.
Oh, yes.
And we couldn't thank you more. To our whole team here working hard. To the tournament team getting the job done. For my man alongside Benji Reese, I've been Steph Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.